So today I want to talk to you about some information a lot of students, well, it's going to help a lot of internationals. Of course, I know that. And what is this information I want to talk about? And this information is about those of you that will be moving to Canada or that are thinking of actually applying to Canadian colleges or universities, right? Excellent. Now, guys, please listen to me keenly. And if you think that this video is interesting, share it to somebody or very educative. Share it to a friend, a brother, or sister. Is going to help them. If you want to apply, or if you are thinking of moving to Canada in 2024, that is September 2024, because most admissions or school websites now are only open for September 2024. You should put this into consideration. Now, let me first of all talk about what the Canadian government said. Few weeks back, the Canadian government said that they are going to be looking or putting into consideration the number of study visas or the number of international students that are coming into Canada as of 2024 because of what? They have accommodation, that's a housing crisis. Okay, and as I talk to you now, it's not really easy to get accommodation. Well, you will find accommodation, but most of the houses are usually very expensive. So, first thing first, if you are planning to move to Canada, look at the schools that you can afford. Look at schools that you can afford, please. There are some people I did applications to them, and from the look of things, they cannot afford the cost because it is quite expensive. Look for schools that you can afford. Point number one. Now, when you look at these schools that you can afford, you are not just looking at the schools, but you are also looking at the programs they offer. Always remember all the things I've been saying in my videos. For you to convince a visa officer, you need to tell them why you are studying that program. Because you graduated 5 years ago does not mean that you should go and apply for what you graduated for. Let's assume that you graduated in with a bachelor's in economics 5 years ago. It doesn't now mean that you should go and apply for maybe a postgraduate program in economics or something related to economics. What if you are now maybe a marketer? Or maybe let's assume that you are a teacher now and you graduated with economics 5 years ago. It doesn't mean that you are going to be applying for economics. You have to apply for something related to curriculum studies, something related to education, maybe early childhood education, maybe curriculum studies. These are the type of things you should apply for. This is where program choice becomes a priority. Yes, the reason you're applying for this program is to try to get the visa. You have to convince the visa officer to give you the visa. Don't go and say, oh, I do not like what I'm doing at the moment. That's why I applied for this program. Will you be able to defend yourself when it comes to writing your letter of explanation? That is point number one you should be asking yourself. And again, when you defend yourself and get the visa, it's possible you can change the program in Canada. But remember, you cannot switch from a non-DLI to a DLI or a non-PGWP to a PGWP. No. You can only switch from PGWP to PGWP, DLI to DLI, and stuff like that. Okay? So you have to look into this. It is very, very important. This is the first thing. Apply to schools that you know you can afford. Now, there are a lot of affordable schools in Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, British Columbia, Prince Edward Island, even Ontario. I think schools that range from 10,000, 11,000, 12,000, 13,000 are actually cheaper schools, are actually cheap schools. So you should take a look into some of these colleges. I have a lot of videos on this YouTube channel explaining all of this, so you can pay attention to those videos, watch them, and please do more research. There are a lot of videos on this YouTube channel talking about bank statement and how to showing a bank statement is not all about proof of funds. How did the money come about? Who is sponsoring you? What do they do? Can you show documents? So there are a lot of things I mentioned on this channel. Please check them out. The second option is that when applying for these schools, remember early application and requirements is key. Some people, they just apply to schools, they don't look at requirements. If a program like practical nursing or maybe medical laboratory something is asking you for biology, chemistry, physics, and they're saying the minimum qualification is a high school certificate, and you go and you apply for that program whereas you didn't pass all those subjects, do you think they are going to give you an admissions offer because you later did a a postgraduate diploma and had those courses. No, the minimum qualification is they are going to be looking at your high school documents, right? They are going to look at your high school documents before giving you that offer, not the document you did after high school, not the certificate you did after high school. Of course, the certificate you did after high school have an extra advantage, an extra boost, can add value to your application, but they are going to consider your high school certificate first, qualifications first. Now, remember, early application is key. These people assess application, or universities in Canada accept applications according to first come, first serve basis. If you apply today and another person applied tomorrow, they will look at yours first. But schools that will ask you to send extra documents, if those extra documents do not arrive the school, you are not going to be assessed. They are not going to look at your documents. For example, NSCC, right? Now, pay attention to all these details. Is very important. Also take into consideration first tuition deposit and tuition plan. How much do the school ask you to pay as first deposit? How much are they asking you to pay after your visa application? Do they require you to pay some extra money before you move? Do they require you to pay just $500 before you apply for visa? Do they require you $1,000? Do they ask you for more money? Are they actually asking you to pay half of your tuition fee? Consider your tuition payment. And if you do not have this money, do not go for such schools because you are going to be wasting your time. I saw somebody last time, he applied to Seneca College. And at the end of the day, he came telling me that, Milton, I'm not sure I'm going to proceed. Why did you, first of all, apply to the school without considering your budget? Before applying to a college in Canada, already keep your tuition deposit, 500, 1,000 or 4,000 or 1,500. There are various schools, or let me say majority of the schools in Canada will request for half of your tuition. Very few will ask for 500, 1,000 and the rest. So you have to put this into consideration. Now, another thing I want to talk about when you're applying for Canada study visa is, like I said, IRCC have increased, for those of you applying from Cameroon, IRCC have stepped up the number of days you have to wait. According to IRCC now, you are going to be using at least, is it 2 months? 2 months is 8, is it 2 months is 8 weeks, right? Yes, it leaves 6 weeks to 8 weeks. So you are going to be using 2 months to get a reply. Now, another trick I want to tell you is do not apply to one college. What if the college rejects you at the end of the day? Apply to 2 colleges so as to increase your chances of getting the offer letters. And now, when you get the offer letter, remember, before you even start the application process, the JAPA process, you need to know who is going to be your sponsor. How are you going to get money? Do you have a bank statement? Those of you with microfinances, go and create bank accounts. So, microfinance is not a banking institution for international students to use. You cannot use a microfinance. You cannot go to Canada. Okay, first of all, where is your ATM card? You cannot go to Canada and you are telling them that there is a cooperative somewhere. What do they mean? They don't know all these things. You should be getting an account in somewhere where you can use your card in another country so as to withdraw money from your account. Remember, most colleges do not require IELTS. This is advice I'm giving you now. A lot of people don't know this. And most colleges will ask you to pay a tuition deposit before you apply for visa. But now it depends on how much you are paying, payment plans for tuition. All right, schools in Ontario are somehow very expensive. Remember, living costs in Ontario now is already skyrocket. All right, it's skyrocketing. What am I saying? Has gone up. So you should understand that in case you want to apply to Ontario, you are already on, how do I put it? Well, you can still apply to Ontario and you get, of course, people are moving on to Ontario, right? But to me, Ontario is very saturated. So I would suggest that if you want to move to Canada, look at the Atlantic areas. British Columbia, Prince Edward Islands, Nova Scotia, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and New Brunswick. All these places, some are not Atlantic region, but at least these are places that if you succeed and you enter there, you are good to go. Okay, visa application is processed It's what you know, it's knowledge, and of course, you carry on with the application process. I hope this video is going to help you. I'm going to be dropping more videos these days about Europe, so please, you should always pay attention to details and make sure you watch those videos to the end, because without you, it's going to be difficult. And of course, if you pay attention to my videos, all right, you listen to me keenly, you are just going to be moving abroad using a study visa.